Now the question is, we have given with a string and we have to find the leftmost character that does not repeat. Now we have to find the reverse of what we were doing in the last question. So let's say the string is graphic grad. Okay. Now in this case, if you see, G is a character which is repeating, R is a character which is repeating, A is a character which is repeating, P is the character which is first we have found and not repeating. Okay. So answer in this case is P. So one basic approach is obviously approach 1, which is brute force. What we do is we take first character and find in the whole string. If it is repeating, then go to the next character and then search in the whole string. If it is repeating, then take the next character and search in the whole string. If it is repeating, then take the next character and see if it is repeating. Now see, P is not repeating. Okay, if P is not repeating, then this is the character which we are looking for. But the problem is, if we are having a string like this, string is like A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, E. Now you will find this A and you will not have any repetition. You will find B and you will have repetition. C, you have repetition. D, you have repetition. And you have to search from the start every time. You cannot search only after it, because for this A, if you start only after it, then there is no repetition and you will announce that A is the answer. But you have repetition A before A. So you have to search start till end every time. So in this case, you have to go till the end and E is the answer. So it will take big of n square time complexity, which is huge. Okay, that is brute force approach. Now, if we see the approach number 2, then what we can do is we can obviously count the frequency of each character. Okay, so let's say if you take the string as this only, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, E. Okay, and you count the frequency of each character, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102. So this is A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. Initially, they are initialized with 0. All are initialized with 0. Now see, when you have A, you have incremented it, B, increment, C, increment, D, increment, then again A, increment, B, increment, C, increment, D, increment, and when you have E, you have incremented to 1. Okay, now again you have to scan through this string, and if the count of str of I is equal to 1, then return I, because the index is I. See, A count is 1, no. B count is 1, no. C count is 1, no. D count is 1, no. And then again, when you find A, the count is still 2. We are not decrementing any count. And for all these strings, count is 2 for B, C, D. But then for E, the count is 1 and we have returned the index of this. Okay, easy solution. Now see the function for this. Int leftmost non-repeat. Let's say this is my function name and string is str. Integer I and my count array of 256 is initialized with 0. Now I have done the counting, that is again str of length size and count of str of I plus plus. After counting, we are running through a loop again through our string again and I plus plus, and if the count of str of I is equal to 1, then this is the first non-repeating character and here itself we can return I. Okay, but then is it possible that there is no character which is not repeating? For example, if we have string 1 is equal to ABC, ABC. Here there is no character which is non-repeating. So in this case, our output should be -1. Okay. So in this case, what should we do? If we are coming out of this loop, we have to return -1. That's all. Is this a solution? Yes, no? Here what we are doing is we are running this loop for big of n time, and we are running this loop also for big of n time. See, we are running through whole string, running through whole string. So the time complexity is big of n plus big of n, and space complexity is again big of k, or we can say big of 1 because k is constant. But then if I want to find the solution in one pass, I don't want to run two passes for my string. So my another approach comes into picture. Another approach again. So what I can do is I can first find the count. Okay, what I am doing is I am just finding the count of each not count, let's say I'm finding the index of each occurring. For example, my string is ABC, ABC and E, where answer is E in this case. Okay, so here in my count array, I'm not storing the frequency, but I'm storing the indices. Okay, A, B, C, D, E. These are initialized to -1. Instead of 0, I have initialized to -1. Or you can initialize with 0 also. There is no problem. Just you have to make few modifications in the program, which I will write now. Okay, so what I am doing is, if you are encountering A for the first time, then here probably you will have -1 only. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to store the index of this 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here you have stored the index of this. Then B, if this is for the first time, then here you have -1 and you have to store the index of this. Then here if you have coming for first time, then you have -1 here and you have to store the index of this. Then again you have A. So when you encounter A again, then you will not have -1 here, because you are looking for this for the second time and you will not find -1 here. So what you have to do is you have to mark it by some number for which you don't have to search it, because it is not unique character, it is repeating character. So I am marking it with -2. Then B, it is coming for the second time, since it is not -1, so I am marking it with -2. C, coming for the second time, it is not -1, so marking it with -2. And then E, store the index of this. Index is 6. Now say this, I have completed the whole string and I will scan through this 256 size of array. Remember this, in the earlier approach, we are scanning through the string, this string and this string, for 2 times. I am saying we have to run one pass through the string, but I can use one pass through the constant size array. So constant size array is not big of n, which is big of k. So one pass on the string is what I am doing. So here I will run pass over this count array, and if we find through first character which is greater than equal to 0, that is my answer. See what I am writing here. Step number 1, store the index of first occurrence of each character. If it is -1, then it's first occurrence. Okay, this is how we can find out whether it is first occurrence or second occurrence. Okay, if it is not -1, then it is repeating, so set it to -2. Why minus 2? Because we don't have to look it for. And then run a loop over count array and consider only value greater than equal to 0. Find minimum of temp comma count of I. Why? Because I have to print the first non-repeating character, that is leftmost. So that's why I am finding the minimum. So let's write the code for this. Integer leftmost non-repeat string str, and here I have integer I, count of 256. I have written like this, but you have to run a loop. Okay, count 256 equal to -1. I have written like this, but you have to write a loop for it. Okay, this is not the correct way to write it. You have to write the loop for it. And we have initialized one temp is equal to int max. Okay, int max, because I have to find the minimum value. Now for I equal to 0, I is less than str dot length I plus plus, and then if count of str of I is equal to -1, then only what I am doing is count of str of I equal to what? I, because I am storing the index of it. Else what I am doing is, else I am setting it to str of I equal to -2, because I don't want to set it to its index. Okay, if it is repeating for the next time, then it will be -2. And then for I equal to 0, I is less than 256. Now see the difference. In the earlier solution, we have two loops for str.length. Here I have one loop for str.length and another loop for 256 times, that is constant time. So I plus plus, and if if count of I is greater than equal to 0, then what we have to do is greater than equal to 0 will not work, I think. Oh yeah, okay, greater than equal to 0, because we are not looking for -2. Okay, because we have stored the indices, so indices can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anything. So that's why greater than 0. It is greater than 0, then temp is equal to minimum of temp comma, not str, it is count of I. So it will give us the minimum index. And lastly, if we don't find any non-repeating character, then we have temp initialized with int max. So that's why temp equal to int max. If it is equal to int max only, then -1 or temp. This is our whole solution. Okay, now here you can see this loop will work for big of n, and all the other loop is for big of k, and for this also the loop will also for big of k. Okay, big of k for 2 times, and the time complexity will become big of n plus 2 of big of k. This is constant, so that's why the time complexity is big of n in one pass only, and space complexity is again big of k, or you can say big of 1.